Deck the hall with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. On this beautiful Christmas Eve, we welcome you to West Shore Unitarian Universalist Church, where we are building a beloved community that changes lives. Tonight we celebrate the holiday season with rituals of song and story and candlelight. It is good to be together, to deepen into the spiritual meanings of this time of glad tidings, hopeful possibilities, beautiful peace, and fa la 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 la, a lot of that. Fast away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe truth is larger than any one book or way. Religion and science go hand in hand. Integrity requires freedom of conscience. Diversity is something to celebrate. In the struggle for justice, we come alive. Our highest aspiration and calling is love. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever path you are on, you are welcome here.
In this night, the stars left behind their habitual places and kindled wildfire tidings that spread faster than sound. In this night, the shepherds left their posts to rejoice and share the news with each other. In this night, wise people began a quest for peace to rule the earth. In this night, the animals left their warm burrows, and the lion lay down with the lamb. In this night, a babe was born, and roses fooled the earth and began to bloom in the snow.
Oh, we're going to sing a lot tonight. Come on. Come on, our next one. Here we go. Here we go. Adeste fideles, leti triumphantes, venite, venite in Bethlehem. Natum videte regem angeloram, venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus Dominum. O come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. O come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus Dominum. Lo, humble shepherds, hasting to his cradle, leaving their flocks in the fields, draw near. We too with gladness thither bend our footsteps. Venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus Dominum. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exultation. Oh, sing all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God, oh, glory in the highest. Venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus Dominum. Choirs of angels, indeed. You guys sound great. Our first reading for this evening is by Barbara Del Mario, entitled The Package. As surely as turkey and dressing followed jack-o'-lanterns, every December since I left home, a package from my mother arrived, signaling the official beginning of the holidays in my household. Upon its arrival, I would place the package in a prominent place and ponder the ethics of opening a parcel clearly labeled with the admonition, "Do not open till Christmas." In the battle of ethics versus curiosity, ethics never prevailed. I rationalized, what if Mom sent perishables? I do confess in all those years I never opened a package containing tuna sandwiches and potato salad. The packages did contain a mixture of items that were so varied and unrelated they were worthy of inclusion in a time capsule prepared in a moment of pure whimsy. Over the years, there were jewelry caddies, dress books covered in simulated zebra skin, swizzle sticks with cute sayings like Alexander Graham Bell had hang-ups. You know who Alexander Graham Bell is, right? If you don't, someone needs to explain that to you because that was funny. And a gold electroplated Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer necklace complete with genuine ruby nose. The one constant was my mom's date and nut loaf, not to be confused with fruitcake. The date and nut loaves became legendary among my friends and work associates. The day after Thanksgiving, my friends became unusually solicitous. How's your mom? Or have you heard from your mother lately? Finally, when subtlety failed, has the package arrived yet? And when are we going to get some of that wonderful cake? As my children became worldly enough to understand the package also contained things for them, they joined in the post-Thanksgiving vigil. They viewed the package as a mystical link to a grandmother they rarely saw but were utterly convinced loved them without reservation. My children were quick to differentiate between the somewhat conditional nature of Santa's gifts and their grandmothers, which were given with no expectations of scholastic achievement or moral fortitude. The phenomenon puzzled me until I had grandchildren. The package never contained big-ticket items, and we never expected any. The pleasure came from not knowing what to expect. My mother had a talent for finding mutant variations of rather ordinary things. I remember the wooden salad spoons with hula dancer handles, the Indian head pennies, and the children's sunglasses with pink plastic ballet dancers on the frames. My daughter wore them to dance class and was a sugar plum sensation. An item that perplexed and then delighted me with its diabolical logic, when explained, was a book bag emblazoned with the name Kim. I did not have a child named Kim. Mom explained that she had heard on Oprah that it was not a good idea to allow young children to carry articles with their names in plain view. Some bad person could trick children into believing he knew them because he called them by name. Since my daughter's name was not Kim, she could not be tricked. Flawless in its simplicity. Mom was one of those rare people who understood completely there was more to gift giving than going to Macy's. She knew anticipation far outweighed dollar value. Even though we knew the package never arrived earlier than December 7th, we started actively discussing it at Halloween and then seriously looking for it after Thanksgiving. By the time it arrived, we had worked ourselves into a giddy frenzy. We adopted an almost Victorian formality when accepting the package from the postman. It's here. Let the season begin. My mom died in mid-October, too early for the package to have been mailed. While cleaning Mom's house in preparation for sale, I found a package wrapped in brown paper, tied with string, addressed to me. I have never opened that last package. But every Christmas, sometime around December 7th, I take that package, now somewhat tattered, and gently place it under our Christmas tree. Only then can the festivities begin.
Our second reading is The Moment of Magic, written by Victoria Stafford. Now is the moment of magic, when the whole round earth turns again toward the sun. And here's a blessing. The days will be longer and brighter now, even before the winter settles in to chill us. Now is the moment of magic, when people are broken down and beaten, with nothing left but misery and candles and their own clear voices. Kindle tiny lights and whisper secret music, and here's a blessing. The dark universe is suddenly illuminated by the lights of the menorah, suddenly ablaze with the lights of the kinara, and the whole world is glad and loud with winter singing. Now is the moment of magic, when an eastern star beckons the ignorant toward an unknown goal. And here's a blessing. They find nothing in the end but an ordinary baby, born at midnight, born in poverty, and the baby's cry, like bells ringing, makes people wonder as they wander through their lives what human love might really look like, sound like, feel like. Now is the moment of magic, and here's a blessing. We already possess all of the gifts we need. We've already received our presents, ears to hear music, eyes to behold lights, hands to build true peace on earth, and to hold each other tight in love.
O little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie. Above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the silent stars go by. Yet in thy dark street shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. For Christ is born of Mary, heard all above. While mortals sleep, the angels keep their watch of wandering love. O morning stars together proclaim the holy birth. Let praises ring from God, they bring goodwill to all on earth. How silently the wonder is made known, when God imparts to human hearts the gift that is our own. No ear may hear that coming, but in this worldly den, when souls are truly humble, then the dear babe rests within.
In Charles Dickens' classic tale, A Christmas Carol, we encounter the nephew of Ebenezer Scrooge, Fred, who says, "But I am sure I have always thought of Christmas time as the only time I know of in the long calendar of the year when men and women seem by one consent to open their shut-up hearts freely and to think of people below them as if they were really fellow passengers to the grave and not another race of creatures bound on other journeys. We are fellow passengers to the grave. Sometimes we are the wise people led by the star, and sometimes we are the refugee family who just had a baby and we see holiness in that new life. But we are completely vulnerable and afraid, and our need is overwhelming. Sometimes we are the one, sometimes we are the other, but always fellow passengers. The offering tonight will benefit the Minister's Discretionary Fund, which is administered in confidence for emergency assistance for our fellow passengers in life. At this time of year, the need is especially great, so please give generously.
The third reading this evening is Silent Night, Holy Night, as told by Walter Cronkite. The 20th century brought unprecedented possibilities and promise. The children of that century would see more improvement in humanity's condition than ever before in the world's history. Advances in medicine, science, and industry would all but eradicate disease, extend human life, open a dialogue among the peoples of the earth, and lift them into the vast reaches of space. But These hardly seemed like possibilities as the Christmas of 1914 drew near. The nations of Europe were at war, anxious to expand and defend their borders. They summoned their best and brightest to the battlefront. Young men answered by the millions. A 19-year-old German boy left his job in London to enlist in the German army. English boys working and studying in Hamburg and Paris returned to London, put on their uniforms, and went back to fire upon former friends. Secretary of War Lord Kirchner expanded the British Army overnight by allowing schoolmates to enlist together. The tragedy of these battalions was no more evident than at Somme, France. Hundreds of villages on both sides lost almost all their young men in a single battle. The little paybook that every British soldier carried included a last will and testament. Thousands of these booklets were collected from the bodies of young boys, many reading simply, "I leave everything to my mother." With hardly a backward glance, the promise of youth was poured into the blind and futile aggression known as the Great War, World War I. The early years of the 20th century brought a new kind of warfare. Field commanders quickly realized that digging in was the only way to survive the sweep of machine gun fire. The German army had marched across Belgium before being stopped at Flanders Fields. Some 60 yards away, British, French, and Belgian troops languished in trenches infested with rats and lice, pelted with freezing rain and shrapnel. As temperatures dropped, disease took hold. Snipers picked off any who raised their heads above the earthen wall. The war was but 4 months old, each side losing thousands a day, both to bullets and that silent common enemy, influenza. Between the opposing trenches was an area about the width of a football field, no man's land, littered with barbed wire and frozen corpses. It was a sobering reminder of what the future might bring. Soldiers who survived later recalled their dead brothers being gathered up and stacked like cords of wood. By war's end, over 10 million would be lost. Not surprisingly, given the circumstances, most of the soldiers were religious, and many were Christian. On Sundays, communion was passed in trenches on both sides, often to the sound of church bells ringing in nearby villages. The occasional hymn was sung, and youthful voices were heard across enemy lines. By December, the war slowed, and hopes for a quick resolution faded away. As the soldiers contemplated their desperate situation, nights grew long, and hearts yearned for peace. December 23rd, a group of German soldiers quietly moved to the ruins of a bombed-out monastery. There, they held their Christmas service. Later on that night, a few Christmas trees, Tannenbaums, as they were called, began to appear along the German fortifications, their tiny candles flickering in the night. Across the way, British soldiers took an interest in those lights as they sang together the carols of their youth. Word spread, and heads peeked cautiously over sandbags at the now thousands of Tannenbaums glowing like Christmas stars. 2 British officers ventured over to the German line and, against orders, arranged a Christmas truce. But the negotiations were a mere formality by then. Up and down the trenches, men from both sides already had begun crossing the line to join the celebration. Lieutenant Sir Edward Hulse assaulted the enemy with music. In a letter to his mother, he wrote, "We are going to give the enemy every conceivable song, from carols to Tipperary." The Germans responded with a Christmas concert of their own. It was not long before the cold air rang with everything from Good King Wenceslas to Auld Lang Syne. For the next 2 days, those tidings continued to spring from the hearts of common men who shared the common bond of Christmas. Further down the line, a German violinist stood atop his parapet, framed against the skeletons of the bare trees and shattered fortifications. Delicately perched in this desolate landscape, his cold fingers conveyed the poignant beauty of Handel's Largo. Whatever the spirit of Christmas had been before that hour, it was now, above all, the spirit of hope, of peace. A British war correspondent reported that later the soldiers had heard a clear voice singing the beloved French carol, "O Holy Night." The singer, Victor Granier of the Paris Opera. The night watch must have lifted their eyes towards the heaven as they heard that plaintive call. Christmas Day dawned over the muddy fields, and both sides cautiously picked their way through the barbed wire. Side by side, they buried their dead. A German officer known only as Thomas gave Lieutenant Hulse a Christmas gift, a Victoria Cross and a letter which had belonged to an English captain. Lieutenant Hulse responded by giving the German officer his silk scarf. One German retrieved a photograph of himself in uniform and asked his former enemies to post it to his sister living in Liverpool. Men who had shot at each other only days before gathered in a sacred service for their fallen brothers. Prayers were offered, and the 23rd Psalm was read. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." 19-year-old Arthur Pelham Byrne, who hoped to study for the ministry after the war ended, remembered, "The Germans formed up on one side, the English on the other, the officers standing in front, every head bared. Yes, I think it is a sight one will never see again." As the Christmas of 1914 drew to a close, soldiers who had sung together, played together, and prayed together returned to their trenches. They must have felt reluctant to let the common ground between them become no man's land again. But as the darkness fell around them, a lone voice floated across a few yards of earth on which they had stood together. In the true spirit of Christmas, one voice, then another joined in. Soon the whole world seemed to be singing, and for a brief moment, the sound of peace was a carol every soul knew by heart. Silent night, holy night. All is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. And that's the way it was. One silent night more than 100 years ago. And that's the way it can be. As each of us embraces the message of that silent, holy night, as we look across some trench we are in to the opposing trench of our enemy, and miraculously realize that they are a friend. And now we turn toward our candle lighting ritual. Let the following prayerful words prepare our hearts and set our intentions.
When the days are short and the sun is dim and the nights seem never to end, in this world where hatred and fear, suspicion and violence, greed and malice still shadow human existence, we come together, as is our custom, to sing the old songs and recount the old tales,
which speak of the birth of the light bringer, of a holy child born at the midnight of the year, who is every child, a holy child, who over the millennia has symbolized all those people of whatever age and tradition who have come into the world.
Reminding all who hear of the great truth that greater than hate is love, and greater than fear is faith, and greater than despair is hope.
We gather here at the midnight of the year to give thanks to the light. We come hoping to make the light of love and joy burn in our lives, that the world may be brighter by our living in it. your light. Radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
Hear these words from the ancient Gospel of Luke. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And all went to be taxed, everyone into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill to all.
Joy to the world, the word is come. Let earth and praises ring. Let every heart prepare a room. Let heaven and nature sing. Let heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, now gladness reigns. Let hearts their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. No more let sins and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. Let righteousness its glory show, as far as love is found, as far as love is found, as far as love is found.
We extinguish this flame but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry
with us until we meet again. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. As you recess out of this space, please return your candle to one of the baskets as you leave. So now we go out into our Christmas Eve and the rest of our holiday season, and I wish for you to take these words from theologian Howard Thurman, as sung so beautifully by our choir.